Welcome everyone to Coffee with the Kingpins. I am very, very happy to have my good friend, my teacher here with me, Amanda Woodward. And I have to just mention this today, February 28th, is an historical day, as we see in the news that the United States and Israel have basically working on completely eradicating the IRGC and the Iranian people, as well as myself. Very happy to hear that, and hopefully everything will go on peace. Well, I don't know. No, I don't know if it's peacefully, but hopefully this will end soon and the Iranian people will have their freedom back after 47 years. Thank you for listening to my little rant. But welcome, Allison. How are you? So good to see you. So I know that it was a while ago that we spoke with one another, but what I would like you to ask for some of the viewers that maybe did not see that video, they didn't see that interview, tell us a little bit about you, your childhood, where you grew up, and what kind of got you to get into doing energy work.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'll try to give you the Cliff's Notes version of all of that. I am from Northern California on the coast, hours north of San Francisco. It's very rural. And something that's unusual for a lot of Americans is that my family has actually been in this area for 9 generations and going.
Wow.
So yeah, so I think that shaped a lot of who I am because now that I have words to put to it, growing up in this area and with, this foundation that my ancestors laid in terms of relationships with the land, relationships with the native people here,
Mhm.
um, I that was my first sense of being able to feel pure source energy.
Mhm.
Came through my connection to the land here, the community, the people. And I did leave for about 10 years, and I might leave again in the future, but I think being back here definitely had an influence on the path that my life took unexpectedly, this left turn into energy work,
Mhm.
and particularly
Who,
clear.
what's the name of the tribe of your area?
So in my area, there's the anthropological name is Pomo people,
Mhm.
and we have two reservations in our area, Kashaya and Bokea Pomo,
Mhm.
north and south of where I live. And yeah, I mean, that's not what the people called themselves, but that's the name that's been given to them. That would be the most recognizable Pomo people.
Right. And you've worked with them as well, right? You've kind of interacted with them as well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have a lot of friends and relatives who are Pomo, and
okay.
I have to thank my ancestors again for laying these foundations of relationships that last through the generations. Because unfortunately, like in many places in the United States, but what a lot of people don't know is that California is some of the worst. A lot of families, settler families that came to this area, acquired their land by being contracted Indian killers
Oh, wow.
through the California governor. You can look it up online. In the 1800s, there are signed forms from the California governor putting prices on the heads of men, women, and children. And a lot of land in Northern California was acquired that way.
Wow.
And that was not the case with my family. And I think because we're a very mixed um, cultural origins, my family. And I know that some of my earliest ancestors to live here just kind of fell into good reciprocal relationships with the native people here. And that gets passed down through the generations, like, oh, that family's safe and this family's safe, you know?
Mm,
So
interesting.
yeah.
So when did you kind of get an inclination that you were psychic or you were feeling entities, energies?
Well, looking back, I had been tormented by entity type things since I was a small child. I didn't know that's what it was when I was little. I was also seeing past lives, if we want to call them that, from early childhood, and sometimes seeing beings from other, layers of reality. I didn't know that's what it was. I just thought I had a really active imagination. So it wasn't until
Lots of friends.
yeah, I did. I had my imaginary friends. Um, it wasn't until I was 32 years old and I had a really severe brain and face injury.
Hmm.
And I started seeing things again as an adult.
Hmm.
And then took me a couple years, but I kind of fell into working with animals and realizing, oh, these things I'm seeing, they're information
Hmm.
that is real. I just didn't know that. So probably it took me till I would guess age 34, 35 to know that's what was happening, though it had been happening my entire life.
Right, right. Interesting. So when did you start? So you understood that you had that gift. And how did you get to, I mean, what kind of work did you do with animals? And how did you
Well,
get to that point?
yes. So after that injury, and almost instantly, it's almost like getting my face and my brain opened up. Uh, just
You
started
had a
letting
car accident, right?
biking
A
accident.
biking accident.
Yeah, yeah. I hit a guardrail going very fast with my face. Do not recommend.
Right.
But it was almost like an instantaneous opening that happened, where I was starting to see things.
Hmm.
And for example, when they were wheeling me into surgery, I could see both of my grandfathers on either side of my, hospital bed that they were wheeling into the operation room, but they were all made out of kind of glittery golden light. And they were both of them were dead at the time, by the way. They were both speaking to me and just telling me, oh, it's going to be okay. And they were swirling this golden light all around me as I went into surgery.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it was just within hours of this accident happening, that started to change. But it wasn't till a few years later, after multiple, let's just call it a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
I had kind of reached a low in my life, and the one single thing that made me feel alive at all was horses. Just, I didn't even want to ride them.
Right.
I'm still recovering from all this stuff. I just wanted to be around them and I just wanted to smell them. And so I started just hanging out with horses and just wanting more of that feeling, which led me to working with a couple, Tom and Yolanda Mays, who does integrated equine therapy.
Hmm.
I was just looking for any excuse to hang out with horses and even maybe to get paid to do it without having horse experience. That was my thought process. What
Right.
I didn't realize is that the basis of their teachings, which are very grounded in science, Tom was a biology teacher for years. It was very grounded in science, but the foundation of it is energy work, is learning how to merge energetically with the horse to assess what's going on. So that just opened up things right away
Hmm.
with energy work.
And it's very interesting because we came to a gathering with you, and we kind of, well, you taught us how to energetically work with horses. And it's really interesting because horses, I feel they're like really special, intuitive beings by themselves. And it's very interesting. You've probably know, but there is this one lady that does energy work with her horses on top of not on top of the clients, but the horses are there, and they kind of come and I don't know, whatever they feel like over the stomach of the person or over their head while the other lady is working,
Mm.
hands-on with them. And I know that you also do energy work from a distance as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I would say credit again goes to horses for
Right.
teaching me that you can do energy work from afar. Because I don't
Okay.
know that like I said, I wasn't looking for any of this. It
Right.
just started to happen. And here I am thinking I'm signing up for, it's like a horse massage type course.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm, seeing things in my mind, and the horse and I are exchanging images in our mind's eye. And but horses, what I learned by working with them is you can be very far away. You can be 30 feet away and send energy. And if you are in your, what we call your source center and grounded, and if the horse is, willing to receive,
Right.
horse will have a visible reaction to what you're doing from
Right.
across a field.
Right.
And so they started to kind of open up my human restricted ideas of space and time and what is possible with energy work. They were my first teachers with that too.
Right. It's
Yeah.
always interesting because there's Dr. Lawrence Brock, who I actually worked with many, many years ago, and I've interviewed, and he actually had a near-death experience. He was in a car accident, and it's really interesting how sometimes, or a lot of times, some kind of a traumatic accident has to happen to suddenly awaken the person to their gifts.
Yeah.
It's like the way the universe kind of says, okay, you didn't catch on, you saw all those friends of yours and you can't identify them. Let me put you through something a little more dramatic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I always used to think of it as like I got a slap to the face, quite literally. But
Right.
it wasn't just that, because I'm such a stubborn person. That was what opened it up. But it was this series of, I had a really close loved one commit suicide 2 months after my accident. And then I was caring for my mother until she died from cancer. And I
Yeah.
mean, just like one thing after another in a short period of time. But if you think about it, in a lot of cultures around the world, historically, the people who were for lack of a better word, let's call it the medicine people of the
Right.
communities, would go through initiations. Maybe something in them was recognized at a young age, and that was fostered, and they were taught, and they were put through initiations to be able to come out the other side and hold that role in the
Right.
community. And for a lot of us in this day and age, it just happens. Like you said, it's these crazy, upending, completely tears apart your worldview,
Right.
breaks you down, rebuilds you into this new life. I mean, right before this, I don't know if you've seen the documentary on America's Next Top Model that just came out on news or on Netflix.
No.
But it just reminded me, it just came out like a week ago. That's the world I was in before this accident happened.
Right.
I auditioned for that stupid show.
Right.
And watching that the other day, I'm like, I can't even believe that was the course I was on. And whoa, like all of these things happened. And here I am doing energy work.
Right.
Um, and those were my initiations. I had several intense initiations in a short period of time. And
Right.
here we are.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
it's,
mean, sorry.
I was going to say, you asked me what we should talk about, right? And I just think it didn't even put it together. Here we are in the year of the fire horse. And I feel like this year, more people are talking about that zodiac,
Yeah.
configuration than I've ever heard people talking about.
Right.
And this theme of the horse and horses walking right alongside us on this spiritual evolution. There are some horses that feel drawn towards doing energy work as well, and others seem to care less.
Yeah.
They're just kind of like us. So it's interesting that there's this theme, and that at this event you and I were at, the plan was not necessarily to involve the horses.
Right.
I was kind of hoping, but when I got to the farm ahead of you all, it became obvious there were a few horses
Right.
there that were really interested in working with us. So
Well, I
here we
mean,
are.
thinking back, and not just thinking back, but even I remember like the day that I arrived, right? And I was walking up before I got into the car, like the horses all ran towards like closer to us, you know what I mean? And it's like them welcoming. I mean, they feel energy, definitely they feel energy.
Mhm.
And it was just like a lovely welcome.
Yeah, it really was.
And just working with them, that was so special. It kind of yeah, it kind of opened, I don't know, for me, it kind of, we were doing like the holding the energy from a distance and sending it to them. I could really, really feel like how powerful it was. But going back to like what you went through to get to where you are, it just seems like, I don't know. I mean, I really believe that as spirits, we all kind of write a plan before we incarnate that, okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to go do this, do this, do this. And then a lot of times when we come, because you completely forget, right? And then there is stubbornness, there are things, and I feel like your spirit family or your higher selves in combination with the universe push you. It's like, okay, you're not getting the lesson. Yeah, you're supposed to don't you remember you were supposed to do this? Oh, you don't remember? Okay, let me show you this, and it's just incredible. But I think the people, I mean, who awaken, who question, like, why am I here? I mean, am I just supposed to like sleep, wake up, eat, go to work, come back home, sleep? I mean, there must be something more than that I'm supposed to do. But all these people somehow go through different situations. I mean, we've all been through certain hardships that kind of said, okay, I need to like go and check this out or look into it more deeply. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now.
Well, my focus the last few years has just been on, because that experience you talk about where people question, why am I here? What is my purpose? I actually have not had that experience. My experience was from a really young age. I felt like I had a purpose far bigger than my little mind could wrap around. And yet, so my question to the universe, to God, to source was always like, why am I not finding that purpose, or why am I not living? I can feel how big this is. Not
Mhm.
just purpose, but that expansive feeling when you are tapped into source. I had it at such a young age that I'm like, wait, why isn't my human life matching up to that? Because I know that that's what's possible. And
Mhm.
so the last few years, well, as you know, because my work has been changing, my focus has been on trying my best to get my physical body, which was in recovery for so long from a lot of these things that happened
Right.
in my early 30s, getting my physical body to even somewhat match what all of that felt like. And
Mhm.
it's shaping my work right now. As you know, Firuze, when I first started working with the horses, clearing, dealing with energetic things that are harmful, that can cause a lot of chaos, a lot of pain in people's lives, that was not even on my radar. That
Mhm.
was not something I wanted. I was really into healing. I loved the idea and the experience of, working with people or working with horses and seeing them find relief and find a moment of peace that they might not have had in a long time. And that's what I was into. But what ended up happening, especially 2020 kind of started, but the apex came in 2021, is that I would be working with someone in a healing capacity, and they would start to go into, something would come up that I would recognize as like what we could now call an entity or something like that. We call them DFEs in our work, dark force
Right.
entities. Um, and I would just not even know how I do it. I would just and clear it in real time from the person because I was working in person then. And so people started coming to me requesting more and more of that. And at some point, I was still trying to cling to the healing stuff, which feels so much better,
Mm-hmm.
and brings in much less chaos to your life as a practitioner. And yet, starting from 2021, it was like, well, as you know, a lot of, well, religions and, paths of spirituality have been purposefully infiltrated
Right.
by types of energies that take advantage of people saying, give me a solution, give me help, opening themselves up to whatever it is. And there's some opportunistic energies that are like, sure, an
Mm-hmm.
open human vessel, let me jump right in. So I wasn't looking for it, and my work became only about clearing.
Right.
Now I finally feel like getting to a place where it can start to open up again. And I think being in person with you and the other lovely people we were with, but interacting with the horses was that first inkling to me of, oh, it, I might be able to go back to more of that.
Right.
Feels really good. Like we're building something new
Right.
rather than constantly chasing down demons.
Well, the thing is, don't you think that kind of we've got less of those demonic energies now than we
100%.
did before, and especially today, I have to say.
Yes.
I mean, what these guys were doing, it was totally satanic, satanic. And
100%. The
actually,
thing is, people don't want to hear that
yeah,
because they look at the news and they say today is worse than it's ever been. But I would say to those people with compassion, first of all, look at all of history before you say today is the worst it's ever been. For one, we just have more information available at our
right,
fingertips, real and false, than we've ever had. But I would also say that in energy work, we know that matter is just very dense energy.
right,
So the less dense layers of reality shift first, and then matter shifts to match that.
right,
So just because things seem more chaotic in the news right now, what we've been seeing for years behind the scenes
yeah,
is this steady decline in all of these forces that seek to extract and harvest off of others, what we call anti-source, what you could call demonic forces, a huge drop
right.
from 2021, which was just like a feeding frenzy. Those were intense times when I look back to now, like, whoo.
Yeah. Well, like they say, something horrible has to hit the fan before things clear. So
Yeah.
I feel that, yeah, that's happening. And I think it's going to happen more and more. We're going through a period where the truth is going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it in different facets. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very interesting. But one of the things that I would definitely, I think you still have classes, right, where you teach, because you teach people how to do the work for themselves. In other words, you teach people how to clear themselves before, working on other people, because that's really, really important. But it's not just how to clear themselves, it's how to become connected to your source connection, but
Mm-hmm.
also how to connect to your higher self or your spirit family. And once you do that, then things kind of change because you have the ability to understand, I think, what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, what is right for you, what is wrong for you. And I think that the universe at this point is giving the opportunity to humanity to do that. And I really believe that those, all of us that were born at this time, I feel, we had chosen to be either with the light or with the dark. But we see that the dark is dimming more and more and more every day. So, yeah. So of course, I'm going to share your website to let people know if they're interested, especially those who listen to this interview and are like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was looking for.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm a little embarrassed to say, because the last time you interviewed me, I said my website is very much outdated. So now it's twice as outdated, but you can still find my contact info there. But what I am really passionate about, especially in this moment, is, a lot of people are having their awakening, if you want
Right,
to call it that, now, including all of a sudden more abilities coming online. And for
right.
some people, that can be very scary, because here
Hmm.
you are trying to live your normal human life and pay the bills and take care of everything. And then you have all this other stuff opening up. And so, what I'm really passionate about is teaching people how to, yes, embrace those natural gifts. They're not demonic, they're not satanic. They can be, and that's how those rumors came about, but they are not inherently. How to open up to that, or if it's already happening, how to reground back into your body. And that's where my nerding out on biology of trauma. I'm a biology of trauma practitioner. I'm a heart math practitioner. Getting into the human nervous system, how to actually be safe in your body, and then open up to
Right,
these other layers, so that you are not pulled in all these directions
right,
that actually start to diminish your overall well-being, diminish the quality of your life. Or some people will use their spiritual gifts as a form of escapism, understandably, because that's a coping mechanism, right?
right.
Escaping your current reality. Some people do it with psychedelics. Some people are able to just do it with their own natural ability. So the programs I'm running, and we're about to run for spring and summer, another 12-week program with 3 clearings included in it. And I say we because, as you know, I have my clearing partner, Tibor,
Right.
who's wonderful. But this program starts out with 4 weeks of basic nervous system regulation tools and learning a little bit more about your nervous system. Also, dipping into the biology of trauma work, where there can be certain physical things going on with you, excuse me, that prevent you from releasing trauma from your body or regulating your nervous system. So, 4 weeks of that. Then 4 weeks of energetic hygiene, the really simple, still tied in with the body and the nervous system, teaching you how to stay in your body and regulated while doing energy work. Then the
Hmm.
last 4 weeks get a little more fun, where we bring in animal and quantum communication. That's usually how I start people off who want to learn energetic work, energy skills, because it's simple, it's gentle, it's fun, and it's verifiable. If you are, communicating with your friends and family's pets, you can get information
Right.
back that says, oh, wait, I'm not just making this up. I am tapping into some information. So we go in that order, very uh, consciously.
Right.
I think that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really exciting. Thank you for sharing. So, any golden nuggets you have to share before we say adios?
Any golden nuggets? Man, that's such a good
Something you've experienced recently, or something, something
question.
different, something new, or just advice.
Wow. Well, I'm racking my brain. There's 50 things coming at once and also a big blank spot. I would just say that, man, if as we are in this time of truth and of things being revealed that are a surprise for a lot of people, I know this might sound so simple, but just putting your awareness on your own heart source center,
Yeah,
breathing, can do so much. And I always put my fingers there to remind me. Just putting your awareness there.
yeah,
And whether you're getting spun out with, what's going on in the world, or if you're getting spun out with spiritual stuff. I've been encountering more people lately who are like, oh my God, I am aware of too much and I need to go to work and I don't know what to do. This tool right here that we're all built with. It's your human heart, but it's also your source center. The human heart is not only what we've been told. It's
Mhm.
a powerful converter of pure life-giving energy into, energy that sustains our bodies. There's kids riding by screaming, by the way, if you pick that up. Right here, tuning into here is your number one tool. No matter, you don't even need to pay anyone to help you with that. You can do that for free.
Well, thank you. And I hope that many people enjoy what you had to share. And thanks again for coming. And I am trying to interview Tibor one of these days. He
Yes,
has
I hopefully
promised
can
me.
help
Yeah,
you.
he's promised me that he will come. But
Yeah.
this was lovely. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching, if you enjoyed this interview, if you're interested, please, or if you want more information about Amanda, please put it in the comment section. And please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to show your love. We appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much. And thank you, Amanda. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.